Hey guys! In this lesson, we'll be exploring some complex tools for creating shapes. We won't focus on these shapes heavily, since this course isn't about digital drawing. Plus, we've learned to work with a wireframe using only simple shapes. So in this lesson, we'll look into the basics so that you can get to know which other options the sketch offers, and after if you want to explore them in detail. The first we are going to do is learn to create default shapes. So press R to create a rectangle and press Enter to open the editing settings in the right panel. We'll realize that the bounding box and the handles, as well as the settings in the panel, change automatically. Now, if we select one point and move it around, you'll see that we are not scaling the object anymore, but modifying the shape. In this case, making it smaller or bigger from the upper left corner. However, the rectangle was created with a straight point type. Let's select now a mirrored point. The point becomes a curved path. See? Coming out from the point are two handles, with handle control points at either end. These will mirror each other and sit an equal distance from the point. On the contrary, if we select disconnected, we can move one handle control point independently from the other. Then, if we select the option asymmetric, you'll see it's similar to mirror, but we can position the handle control points at an independent distance from the point. In the case of the straight point type, it's possible to create rounded corners by clicking and dragging the slider underneath the point types. This only works for straight points, remember that. Here, there's a drop-down menu where we can select between round to full pixels or to half pixels, and if we click in this icon, the mouse pointer transforms to a selection tool to select more than one point at a time. If we hover over a path, we'll see that the pointer transforms immediately to the path tool. We can use it to add an extra point to the path and keep editing. So these are the basics about paths. Let's have a look at the vector and pencil tools for creating shapes from scratch. So guys, to select the vector tool, you just need to go to the upper left corner and click on Insert. A menu drops down and there you find it. A shortcut for this is the V key. The vector tool lets us create shapes from scratch. We can click anywhere to create straight points, or click and drag to create curves like the mirror type. What happens here is that the tool calculates the next point based on the previous points we drew. Let's say we want to change to disconnected point type. Just press Command and we'll change the type, this time disconnected. We are drawing now an open path, which we can close by linking the points to the first one we created. So, here the path is closed, right? And thus the shape is created. Another tool to create shapes is the pencil. We can select it from the toolbar or directly by pressing P. This tool allows us to draw shapes freehand. As you can see, these paths are completely free and without relying on mathematical calculations. To create a path, just click and drag to create the shape. After that, press Enter and Sketch creates the nodes automatically, which allows you to modify the shape. The only difference is that the pencil tool creates open paths by default. It's not a defined shape, okay? So these are the basics of these tools. Lastly, let's have a look at these four tools at the top on the toolbar, which are called Boolean Operations and allow us to combine different shapes to generate others. First, let me select all these elements and remove them. Okay, Now the canvas is empty, let's create two rectangles by pressing R and overlap them. That's it. For the moment we have two different shapes, but if we select them and click on the union option, both of them will be combined in a single area. As you can see, both the color and the edges became a single shape. The good thing is that we can modify the shapes, making up the bigger one. How? Go to the Layer panel and click on the triangle to make the combined element visible. It's similar to the groups, remember? So we can edit them separately. But it's also possible to merge these two shapes by pressing on the Flatten option. The shapes disappeared. This option is great, especially after designing the shape, where we would rather remove the initial shapes to avoid editing them unintentionally, or when designing complex shapes, like icons, where Boolean options can be a problem. Okay, so the advantage of flattening the shape is that the shape becomes a standard shape as drawn manually. Another Boolean option is subtract. Let's create two circles with the O while holding Shift to keep the proportions. Great. Let's put this circle in the center more or less, overlapping the other. Select both of them and click on Subtract. What happens? Here we have a moon, right? So, unlike the previous one, which combines shapes, this tool subtracts them. If we go to the left panel, we'll see the other shapes we just removed. From there, we can select it and position it to the left or right, depending on what we want. Okay, guys, I just realized that it seems that we are playing Tetris and Pac-Man, right? But we are actually doing is playing around with Boolean options. The next feature is intersect. Create two circles again, overlap one of them, positioning it in the center, select both shapes and click on the third option, intersect option, and this is the result. This area corresponds to the parts where the original shapes overlapped. It resembles to a leaf or a rugby ball, right? And the last option is different. In this case, let's create three circles, which we are going to overlap this way. Select the three shapes and click on the difference option, which is the last icon. The result is a shape that is exactly the part where they didn't overlap. So, guys, these are the main tools that Sketch offers us to create complex shapes. We won't use them a lot in this course, but if you are a digital designer, you might find them quite useful. So, see you in the next lesson.